everybody, and welcome back to
Goodbye. Goodbye. What?
another edition of Northern Countdown. I'm none other than your friendly neighborhood soda, joined as always by Bear here, and my co-pilots in this endeavor, Ben, and the 50 Shades of Farewells finales today. Who you waving goodbye to?
What?
Who you waving goodbye to?
The camel. He's leaving. That's the final episode of the show.
Anyways,
I'm kidding. He's staying. I don't have the heart to get rid of him.
We are. Okay. So I couldn't actually see the camel because of the 50 Shades of finale. I didn't know there was a camel there.
Damn. Name tag again.
We should just take them off. Do we really need them?
I'm here.
Anyways, no, as you can kind of tell by 50's shtick, we are here doing our top 5 final seasons of TV. That should be an interesting episode.
This is my list, and I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be any crossover.
Maybe not. I can see a few. Maybe.
This was a very hard one for me personally because it's not really a topic I tend to think about that often. I mean, if you ask me the favorite season of a show, I would have had a list immediately. But favorite final seasons, it's a little bit different for me.
Yeah, I'm actually in the same boat as 50, just because a lot of my favorite shows, the seasons that I like the most, are in the middle. I don't really think about favorite final seasons, but I was able to cobble together a list. So
me too.
I'm looking forward to this.
It's before we started the show.
What?
I literally, because we start early, I fell asleep and I woke up. Shit, I didn't even do my list. I got up, grabbed my board, and like 5 came out of my head right now. I'm like, oh, okay.
And that's the best way to make a list.
Usually that's how we do it.
I'm crushing this.
Why? Well, this is going to be a fun episode.
Slow, quick.
No, save that for the end.
Great for the end. Okay. Ben, kick it off.
I know most people hate this season, and even if you love the show, this is not a hated season, but probably not the one that looks fun at most, but I love this season. It's the last season of Seinfeld.
Okay.
It was 2 seasons removed from Larry David. They had all the money in the world, and they just went bananas with it. They did whatever they wanted to do. It was so out there, so funny. I just loved this final season.
So even the way it ended with them all going to jail out of nowhere?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it.
Infamous finale.
Yep, the infamous finale.
Yeah.
Even I was aware of that one, and I've never seen a full episode of Seinfeld. I still remember when that was going on live, just how big of a deal that final episode was. Like, there were pictures circulating on the internet of people on Times Square watching that finale up on the big screen.
There were people trying to sneak into the lot, trying to figure out what it was about. This show is I think one can say it's the biggest TV show ever. Or one of them at least.
It's definitely a Mount Rushmore show in that sense. Like, it's up there with Friends and stuff.
Did you hold on, Ben? Did you say the biggest TV show ever?
No. On planet Earth.
I hit biggest, not great.
That doesn't make it.
I hit biggest, not greatest. There's a difference.
No, I get you. You said biggest, as in has the biggest fan base.
50
the biggest legacy. The biggest, I don't know, longevity. Is that what you mean, Ben? The biggest impact on TV society.
No.
That's
No.
so. Thanks for clearing that up. As I fix my imaginary bow tie for a second.
My Lord 50.
I really talking about Doctor Who. Matt Smith in Mobius is fantastic. I know we saw that movie this week, and everybody's right, he stole that movie.
Oh, 100%. Matt Smith is a national treasure.
The only reason to watch that movie is Matt Smith. Like, there's no question.
Of course.
I didn't hate the movie as much as other people did, but it's his movie. Jared Leto just happens to be there.
Hey, quit trying to eat the pen, Bear. Sorry.
He wants to eat the pen. Let him eat the pen. But
Yeah,
let me
he
ask you this. Let me ask you. Oh, he left. That's a bummer. I was going to ask you, what color was the pen?
Oh, it was my black. I was just actually rearranging my list, so it's my black felt pen.
I know where you were headed, 50. I think I know where you were headed.
Well, at least Ben got it. So
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't paying attention because of the dog. But let's just say this won't be our only Doctor Who talk, okay?
Woo!
Oh, good 50.
You do not want to know what almost happened here.
You almost dropped your tea, didn't you?
The camel just made a kamikaze move towards the tea.
The kamikaze had no more reason to live. Death by drowning.
Yeah, because it's the final season. You know, it's he's leaving the show, as mentioned earlier by the thing.
So, yeah. So I think here's what we should do the next time. When we do our intros, we shouldn't have the names up so we can see the sheet.
Yeah.
They're easy to turn off. Somewhere in here. There it is. Ta-da!
All right, 50. What's your number 5, my man?
That's weird. They came up again.
I just put them back up.
Oh, you brought them down temporarily. Okay, never mind. So much like Ben's number 5, it's
Yeah, keep going, 50. I can hear you.
where's he going? Much like Ben's number 5, it's a season that even if you loved the show itself, the final season wasn't as good. And still to this day, whenever the conversation is brought up about this season, I always contend that I liked the final season. It was completely unnecessary, and we didn't need it.
Okay.
I think I know where I think I know where you're headed.
There's a few shows that fall into that.
I think Ben knows what I'm going for. It's Once Upon a Time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a
Let's
fun
hear-
Ben, or can I talk?
No, it's in my honorable mentions. It's in my
Yeah.
honorable.
So, like I said, I stand by what I said. We didn't need it. It didn't need to exist. We still got it though, and I loved how they wrapped up everything. It's just season 6 wrapped up everything else in such a nice, neat little bow that we didn't need Hyperion Heights. We didn't need the extra bonus Cinderella, Rapunzel stuff. Although I will admit, as far as fairy tale characters go, I think you can admit that Rapunzel really did get the short end of the stick when it comes to the original run of the show. So I think they wanted to give that character the respect it deserves. She deserves. So I guess.
Well, can I ask you something about this final season 50?
Go ahead.
To me, when I watched it, it felt like at the beginning half of the season, they really concentrated on Henry and his family. And then halfway through the season, it made a sharp decision to only concentrate on Regina, Wumple, and Hook. Is that fair to say?
I think you can say that about most of the show in and of itself. But I think they wanted to. I think for the most part, they wanted the focus to be on older Henry and his family, and not even halfway through, like the penultimate episode, they just made a sharp turn of like, nope, it was all about Rumpelstiltskin the entire time. So
Right.
I mean,
It was Rumple all along. It was Rumple all along.
but yeah, to your point and mine, Ben, kind of rushed, sloppily made season. I mean, Dr. Facility just gets taken out for no reason. And they had such a good built foundation with that character, and they just offed him off. Like, I don't even think the phrase, but they just took him out in one sharp turn just to bring in the original Rumpelstiltskin again.
I will say this though. In that final season, some of the best episodes were about Rumple and Belle. There's one in particular. I forget.
One episode though in the final season.
Right, but there were some good episodes. Like I love the one where we found out about the second hook.
Yeah, and I love.
I really need to go back and watch the show because I have not a clue what any of you guys are talking about. I've only got, I think, to the third or fourth season.
Which, ironically, the third is what I consider to be the best, and the fourth is what I consider to be the worst.
Mine too.
Yeah, but I loved the Alice storyline. I'm not gonna spoil it for Soda, but I love. She's Captain Hook's daughter, Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, cool.
It's sort of ish.
See, that's one thing I do remember liking about the show is just how they were able to make it make sense, the connections between these characters.
Yeah, and I really liked how they made it for that character. I loved the Robin character, not Robin Hood. Ben knows which one I'm talking about. The other Robin.
Yeah.
Obviously.
No.
Not that. I said not Robin Hood.
I was joking, but you guys can go ahead and spoil it. I don't care.
So if we're spoiling it, is the Red Riding Hood and Dorothy from that season or from the previous season?
It was
what?
Even the beginning earlier seasons, Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, but I want to say it was season 5, if I'm not mistaken.
With Hades? Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you might be right. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that show, and they were able to wrap up so many storylines of so many characters, and he did it beautifully. That again, the final season wasn't really necessary to introduce all these new characters to wrap up their stories again, but I liked the finished product. I liked how they brought all the realms to Storybrooke, and I would very much like an open world video game set in this new Storybrooke with all the other realms that you can just.
One can say the whole show is a multiverse.
Yeah, I suppose, or just an expanded universe of fairy tale characters. Oh, whoop! There was a flying bear there for a second.
Sorry, I was here. It sounded like he was going through some things I didn't want him to go through. So
okay. Some confidential files he's not supposed to read. But
garbage.
That. Wow, there must be really garbage files there. But that's kind of really.
Shut up! I just got that.
Yeah, speaking of bear, does it ever surprise you, Ben, that they never tried to tackle Goldilocks in that show?
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not really Disney.
I mean, and neither is Red Riding Hood.
It's true.
Or Hansel and Gretel.
Okay, fair point.
Or hell, Jekyll and Hyde also isn't very Disney, and they still did that. Point. And Frankenstein. I mean, I can go on. Like seriously.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Captain Ahab, Captain Nemo,
Will Scarlet,
Monte Cristo. What?
Will Scarlet.
Yeah.
Will Scarlet or Hera.
All right, Matt. Mandy Moy, what's your number 5?
So this is another one where it's not the best season of it, but I still enjoy it. And it's actually the first part of the show I've ever owned on VHS. is the season finale of one of my all-time favorite shows, Home Improvement series, the final season. Sorry.
Oh wow.
Yes, I actually really do enjoy it. It's a little weird not having Jonathan Taylor Thomas there, which actually kind of does hinder a little bit, which is why it's not on my final. It's at the bottom of my list. But I really like how they had.
Did you say Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Well,
but
I think I find out where he was all this whole time.
but no, I mean, he does come back for the one-off Christmas episode, which is pretty cool. But it's just nice that they knew this was their final season going in, so they actually had time to properly wrap up a lot of threads, bring back characters that had left the show in the finale to say goodbye, like Harry from the hardware store. But it's just the fact that they were able to craft a 3-part season finale that's actually what I own on VHS, was that 3-part season finale. But you had it kind of interesting structure. You had the first part where it's just like, yeah, okay, we're getting ready to move into the next several lives. The second episode is the clip show. And then the third part is the end, where you see all of it wrap up. You see Al finally get married. You see them take down the fence between the 2 houses, which is, something that's symbolic of the show. No, it's a great time, and for me, a great way to say goodbye to a bunch of people that I grew up watching.
Great.
The floor.
I agree. It's a great final season. I love all the callbacks, and I like the evolution of all the characters in that final season.
Agreed. And one of the things that I've always found interesting is this is the season where the characters felt cooler. I don't know.
And it had a great music video in one of the episodes with Chris Lightning. So should I go on to my number 4, or is there anything else you want?
Sorry, the dog pooped on the floor, little shit.
He pooped a little shit on the floor.
It wasn't little for him.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Alright.
A dog.
Food. Go ahead, Ben.
My number 4 is a song called The Good Place. If you guys don't know about it, the show is about where people go after they die. And I have a comedy starring Kristen Bell, Ted Danson, and a few other people. And the whole time they're trying to get to the good place to move on. It's a great comedy brought to you by the guy from Parks and Rec at The Office. And yeah, it is a great half-hour comedy. I highly recommend it.
I've seen the first couple episodes. I really enjoyed it. I just never went back and watched it, finished it.
You would like it, Matt.
I love their creative way to swear without swearing.
Yeah, I think you would like it here, 50.
I think the TV Talk crew used to talk about that show all the time.
Oh yeah.
So it's nice to, but here's the thing. Here's one of the main problems I had with TV Talk is that they kept talking about how good a show was. They didn't really tell you what the show was about most of the time. So now that you said it, now it actually entices me to go see it.
I don't think there's anything. Yeah, it is a simple half-hour comedy. Lasted 4 seasons. Really sharp, really funny. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, it's incredibly witty, and the beauty thing is it's perfectly structured. So 4 seasons feels just about right.
And Matt, there are some great actors that come in from Parks and Rec, and I think you'll like.
Well, I'm not surprised just because I know it's the same creator.
Right.
Thank you, Soda's chair. Thank you for the input.
All right, 50, what's your numero 4?
Sorry, it turns out the little shit also peed on the carpet.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go for it, might as well go for the whole thing, right?
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. There's a reason why I keep this door closed most days. Carpeted. Right, so go ahead, 50. I'm listening.
Well, my number 4. This is actually one I would be surprised if it's on any of your lists. Spider-Man the animated series.
Ooh, that's a good
In
season.
the 1990s animated series?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. I don't think I've ever watched the full start of
Here's
season of that.
here's the thing. That's and I believe me, I've checked, okay, and I did my research. It is literally the only series called Spider-Man the animated series.
Yep.
They
That
found
is true.
different names for every other, and they had like 7 or 8 other shows. That's the only one that still maintains the title Spider-Man the animated series.
Huh.
There's Spider-Man the new animated series, Spectacular Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Spider-Man. But that was the only one that actually maintained the name Spider-Man the animated series, which I think is pretty impressive. That being said, this whole season was kind of split. Here's the thing: since season 2 onwards, they basically had a seasonal arc for each season. Sometimes shorter arcs, sometimes arcs that lasted a full season. And for the final one, which I believe was season 5 or 6, I think, it was split into 2 arcs. The first was Secret Wars, if you're familiar with the comics. And the second one was Spider Wars, which, in a sense, it was basically the Spider Verse before the Spider Verse was a thing. Like, this predated the Spider Verse comic by like a decade and a half or something like that.
Oh,
Which
cool.
is
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
You got like 6 different versions of Spider Man fighting an alternate version of Spider Carnage,
Ooh.
Yep.
which I believe that was the debut of that particular variant of Spider Man.
And one of my Spider-Man was Ben Riley. It was
Yes,
a nice.
that was my introduction to Ben Riley. There was a guy with Doctor Octopus's tentacles, and there was a guy, a rich boy with Spider-Man armor. And here's the thing about the Ben Riley one, because at that point, the main series Peter Parker sees all these other Peter Parkers. There's one with like 6 arms and whatnot, and then Ben Riley shows. I almost said Ben Rayner for some reason.
I know.
Ben Riley shows up, and he takes off his mask, and it's a completely different Peter Parker with blonde hair. And he's like, "Whoa, what happened to you?" So yeah. I mean, it introduces us to the concept of the multiverse in that particular season, and also just the other half of the season, the Secret Wars part. I mean, obviously, it's a much scaled down version of these Secret Wars, but it's pretty faithful to the original Secret War comic, not Secret Wars with an S, which is a different thing apparently. But yeah, I mean, you got the Fantastic Four there. Iron Man is there. Who else? Storm from the X-Men. Yeah, there's like they brought a bunch of different characters from the across the the Marvel universe, and they made it work.
And 50. Don't forget about that certain cameo in the final episode.
Excelsior!
Of course, they had to put Stanley in there.
Yeah.
It wasn't until this show was available on Disney Plus where I realized I hadn't seen as many episodes as I thought. I turned
Yeah,
out
great.
over and over again.
I mean, I grew up watching this show, and I didn't like binge it. I didn't watch. I mean, it was still back in the good old days where if you miss an episode, it's gone. Like we watch the episode, the next one, and you have no idea what happened the last time, and it's like, wait, how did this character get from here to there? So,
unless you had the foresight to record it, record the episodes.
Yeah, I did not have that foresight, so thank you for letting me know that. But in
they didn't have VCRs back there.
I didn't know how to record.
Oh, okay.
I was 4, man. Come on. Anyways, so around high school time, I did a full rewatch of the entire show for the first time, realizing how much I missed just by, you know, not being able to see every single episode all the time. Just seeing it as a coherent story was really good for the first time. And then I think I did another rewatch when one of the Spider-Man movies came out. So I think I'm much due for another rewatch of that.
Can I just say I love how they handled the alien symbiote in that show?
Yeah, you know,
I'm trying to remember.
I think this might be my favorite adaptation of the Venom storyline.
Mm. Yes, I will say it is easily the most accurate. Easily the most accurate. It's pretty good storyline. I do remember that.
Although, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just a big fan of Tom Hardy and his Eddie and Venom. And that's probably my favorite incarnation right now.
No, we're not.
That's all we're
I'm not
talking
saying it.
about. Favorite.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying favorite version of Venom. I'm saying my
No, I
favorite
know.
version of the story.
Yeah, mine too. Okay.
Because I mean, if you think about it, the Tom Hardy Venom movies, which I like, by the way, it's an adaptation of the Venom character. It's not an adaptation of a symbiote. If you
Okay,
catch me.
that's fair. That's fair.
I mean,
All right.
the one we're talking now, it wasn't the most faithful, but it was an adaptation of how the symbiote bonded to Spider-Man first, then Venom, and not Venom straight away, which is still
Speaking
good.
of sorry, continue.
I forgot what I was about to say, so go ahead.
I also thought they handled Morbius better than the Morbius movie that just came out.
That's true.
But as we mentioned, the only reason people want to see that movie is for Matt Smith.
Wow.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
Movians, anyways.
Movians.
And Vivi, I did like that they did not do Doctor Who in Morbius.
Which one? He did several.
Oh, what's the level of pain? 1 through 10? And he said 11?
Yeah, I audibly laughed. I screamed with laughter, and I don't think no one who was in the theater at that time has even heard of Doctor Who because everyone just looked at me like, "What's the deal with this crazy person? what's going on with him? What's his problem?" And then later they did another thing. They watched him on the security camera, and they see Matt Smith, and they're like, "That's not the Doctor." And I said, "Yes, he is." And again,
I didn't pick up on that, but you're right. Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, and I think they did a couple more, but very minute. But those are the two ones that stand out.
Right. All right, so now, what is number 4?
So this is actually the one you predicted to be my number 1, man. It's the Friends final season.
Okay.
All right, Ben, you're number 3.
Okay. This is going to be a little bit of a cheat, but how I see what?
But it's you, so it's okay. Go ahead.
My number 3 is season 8, the true final season of the Scrubs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
That is a final season. I'm sorry. That I don't think was more of a spin-off and really it had a different name. I really don't consider it Scrubs canon. This final season
It is canon, Ben.
Let me ask you this. But let me ask you this. Would you consider season 6 of Once Upon a Time the final season of Once Upon a Time?
Yeah, but it had the same name. This everything didn't have a different name than Scrubs. It was like Scrubs Med School or something.
Okay, so I think it's allowed. I mean,
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing: season 8 was supposed to be the final season, but after it wrapped, they decided to bring it back. So, yeah.
And then they did a perfect job wrapping up all the characters. Katie and Elliot finally got together. Katie moved to a new hospital. Dr. Cox got the chief of medicine position. Took was named chief of surgery. They brought in some new characters. This was an incredible final season and an incredible final episode of Scrubs proper. I love the show, love the season, and might be one of my favorite seasons of the show.
I never got that far. I never got that far.
How far did you get?
5.
Really? Wow.
Well, it's just, dude, there's a reason I've got ADHD. It's sometimes hard for me to stick around with something. But yeah, no, I do enjoy the show. Yeah, I never got that far. I never got that.
No, fine. I thought you did.
No.
150?
I said I don't think I got that far either.
Okay. Yeah.
My one friend who's a nurse still says it is the most accurate depiction of hospital life.
I believe that. I believe that.
Including the tormenting janitor guy.
Well, no.
Okay.
Yeah, he is the best character of the show.
Probably some other person.
All right, 50.
Well, my number 3 is actually the pun from earlier. It's Fred's.
Oh, okay. Soft punt. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was like, pun?
Yeah, just call it a soft punt next time.
Okay. I don't know sports, so I don't know. So I didn't know that.
Oh, I thought, yeah. I thought you'd have seen I thought you'd have listened to the top 10 show before because they use soft punt before a lot. But
It's been
a while. Me too.
it's really been a lot of. I mean, are they still doing top 10? Oh, I thought.
They're still practically scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point, but yeah, they're still doing it.
Oh, because I watched the original back when it was on Collider.
Oh, that's
And
not the original. That's not the original.
It was for me, okay? But I watched it when it was on Collider, and I think they stopped doing it for a while after they took it off Collider.
No, they went back to
That's
our format.
Yeah, I thought but then they took a break between the Collider and the bringing it back in audio.
Oh, that's probably I wasn't listening at that point, but I do know like they're still going strong on audio.
Okay.
So, friends, tell us about it.
What's the deal with Friends then?
So the reason why was it so low on my list is because the first for me, it's the final episodes that make this worthwhile. When Rachel's saying goodbye to everybody, and then seeing all the storylines wrap up with the twins being born, and Rachel she get off the plane and all that stuff. That's what makes that final season for me. That don't supersedes anything forgettable about the earlier part of the season.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that's the reason it's on my list, regardless of the ranking. It's on my list because of how they wrapped up 10 years of that show. But I feel like I had to put it on my list. I think it would be a disservice to myself if it's not on the list because of how well they ended it.
And it's got one of the most poignant and heartbreaking final shots of all time. It's the keys. The keys, man.
Yeah.
It symbolizes it's over.
Yeah. In a way, that apartment was ours.
Yeah.
The viewers.
It was like home.
Sense. Yeah.
And plus, we had the addition of Anna Faris in the final season as the pregnant teen mom, and you had Phoebe's wedding, which a typical Phoebe.
She married Anton.
Oh yeah, in the snow, coming down to a Beatles song on the Jamaican.
I want to say something right now, man.
Go
I
ahead.
can't.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't. talking about Paul Rudd.
Oh, how he still hasn't aged.
Kind of.
And I'm making shitbag.
Yeah, something like that. There's nothing.
You need to stop doing that, Ben.
What?
You're a tease.
Matt, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it for
Oh,
50.
dude.
Dude, by talking about it, you effectively did.
Yeah, you should have brought it up to begin
I
with.
mean, don't you know how spoiling works, Ben?
Yeah, that's why I said you're a tease. We should name you Chippendales.
Oh, and we scared him off. So how's Bear?
Bear's doing good, other than he's pooping it all over the place.
I mean, dog's gonna poop.
I started nicknaming, like out of nowhere, I just started nicknaming him Bub. Come here, Bub. Because if you look at him, he kind of's got that Wolverine look to him.
Yeah.
Ears and
Did you
stuff.
pick the name, or did he already have the name?
Bear came with him. That was his name. So I just kept it, whatever. I like it. But yeah, I just started calling him Bub for fun.
Yeah. I just thought the fact that he's like so tiny and his name is Bear.
I know,
Like,
right?
how you doing? Here's my bear.
Yeah, he's like a teddy bear.
So whose turn is it?
A licking
That
teddy
was-
bear.
So now it's back to my number 3. This one I wouldn't be surprised if it's a punt. Star Wars Rebels. The final season.
Oh shit! I didn't. I didn't consider it mainly because I considered 2 and 3 to be superior.
I agree, but that's not what we were doing the list, right? And I agree. 2 and 3 are the best seasons of Star Wars Rebels. But even then, we still get the badass exit of Kanan in this episode.
Yeah.
We get to
I had tears in my eyes when that happened.
Right? Me too. We get to see the world between worlds. We get to see him bring Ahsoka back. We get to see her in that episode. We get to see things that have hear things that have happened in the past. We get
In the future.
In the future, we get to see
It was a wibbly wobbly timey-wimey season.
right. We get to see Hera and her son. Right? It's just there's just so many good things about it, and it ends on a form of hope because they're going to see if they can find Ezra and Thrawn.
To be continued in the Ahsoka series.
There you go.
Later this year.
Which season had the Twin Sons episode?
3. I had to
Yeah.
look that up, yes, because I couldn't remember if it was season 4 or 3. But it's season 3, hands down, my favorite episode.
Mine too.
My favorite episode is Twilight of the Apprentice.
Oh, that's also really good. Yeah.
Which is also my favorite lightsaber duel of all time.
Oh, dude, that's season 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Darth Vader stuff in that season, him as the overarching villain. Oh my god, it was so well done.
Hopefully we get that next week with Obi-Wan.
Oh, that's next week already. Holy shnikes!
Shouts.
Came fast.
Yeah, a week from today, and the first 2 would be out already.
But yeah, no,
Time flies.
it's Star Wars Rebels. I could talk easily way more about 2 and 3, but I still had a lot of fun with season 4 Star Wars Rebels.
And also in the final season, Drunk Hera.
Exactly.
It was also good. And I like the giant wolf thing.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm not.
this final episode, but with the plan to bring in the space whales and the thing, but it was well done.
And we also get to see more of Mandalore. Like it's someplace if you only watch the visual stuff you've only ever heard about, but now we actually get to see for the first time Mandalore in this season.
We got that in Clone Wars, man.
But I'm talking Rebels, not Clone Wars. I've never seen Clone Wars.
No, but you're saying that no one's seen Mandalore. Okay, never mind.
I had it. Okay, fine. Anybody who hadn't seen Clone Wars and hadn't seen Mandalore up to that. Better.
No, that would be me too.
Yeah. All right, Ben. What's your next
My
one?
number 1, 2.
Your number 2.
It's really hard. I have to My number one and my number two flip all the time. What the hell? My number two will be Breaking Bad.
Oh, nice.
Because that is an incredible show that wrapped up perfectly. I'm not going to say what because I don't think any of you have watched it. And that's a show that won't, and I won't spoil it for you. But they do a great job wrapping up all the characters. It's a great romantic story. Vincent Gilligan is a master writer. I'm loving what he's doing with Nice Medical Medical Soul. And yeah, this final season of Breaking Bad, A plus, grade A, 10 out of 10, love it, perfection.
Yeah, of course, I haven't seen it, but you couldn't escape it when it was on. Because I remember it's like, oh, is Walter White gonna get out alive?
Yeah, I was in the military, out in the middle of nowhere, and I had people losing their minds over the finale.
Oh wow!
And can I tell a quick story about Breaking Bad? Not necessarily the finale, the final season, but just in general.
Please.
So I had this, like I said, I had friends in the military who used to watch that show religiously every night, and because the walls in our barracks were so incredibly thin, like one guy could knock on the wall on one side of the barracks and you hear it all the way on the fourth room. Like it was that thin. So the guys in the room right next to us were watching the show late in the middle of the night, and my roommate, who was like sitting right next to the wall, heard everything because their TV was uh, like basically on the wall right next to where he was sleeping. So like the guy's head was here, the TV was here, so he can hear everything they were saying. And he was fast asleep. He was a very heavy sleeper. And then there was this large noise of like metal on metal, like grating on itself.
Yeah.
But like a car compactor or something like that. And like I said, the guy was sleeping and he woke up like this. What's that? What is that? And I'm like, oh, it's Breaking Bad. They're watching an episode, and the guy's like, again, the name tags botch everything up, but whatever. So it's done.
Off they go.
And I actually have a story within a story because I told that story to other people in the the unit, and as soon as I mentioned the whole metal on metal thing, one guy was like, "Oh, so basically Megatron masturbating."
Oh, there's an image.
Yeah, and yeah, that kind of stuck with me. So it was a story within a story with a bonus story, but yeah, it was yeah, the military was a fun time.
Yeah, that's not the kind of lubricant you want. Ugh.
I'm not leaving on a very fun time.
I think I got a message from my mom telling me not to mention stories like this anymore on the show. So,
that's funny. Hi, Vivi's mom. All right, so it's 50's turn now. Keep it PG.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't get more PG than this. Well, actually, I guess you do. Justice League. More specifically, Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Now, I do believe Season 2 was far and away superior, and in my opinion, one of the best seasons of television of all time. But in a way that the final season of Once Upon a Time wasn't necessary, but I still liked it. Because Justice League Unlimited Season 2 was such a masterpiece of a TV storytelling, in my opinion. There was no way that season 3, whatever might end up being, could compare to that. But I still really liked it. It was, in my opinion, still unnecessary, but I liked what they did with it. I loved the Legion of Doom stuff, and I loved Lex Luthor being with a split personality and such. And the episode where he switches bodies with the Flash was really cool. I think you mentioned it. Yeah, because guess who's voicing the Flash, people?
Greatest Lex Luthor of them all.
Yep.
Yep. Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, no, you're right. This season 2 ended so perfectly with an episode called Epilogue, which is the best episode, in my opinion, of everything they've ever done in the DC animated TV universe. But yeah, that season 3, you're right, wasn't needed, but there was still some fun stuff like the Michael Rosenbaum Flash.
Yeah, and also I loved, like, and obviously they brought in Darkseid for the final season, and there's a fight scene between Superman and Darkseid, and the monologue that Superman gives in that fight scene, it's like, yes, that is Superman. I mean, they nailed all due respect to Christopher Reeve, all due respect to Tom Welling, all due respect to Henry Cavill. That moment right there, that is Superman, like, to a T. And also the final, like, the final shot of that show. Obviously, the final line of dialogue in that show was Wonder Woman saying, "And the adventure continues." And then you see all the members of the Justice League, every single one, just running at the camera. And obviously, it ends with, like, the final 5. And then, after everyone had their moment in the sun, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman running at the camera. Like, perfect way to end any series, any season.
The holy trinity of comic books.
Yep. The Father, the Son, the Become.
Yep.
Right.
I've always wanted, I might still get it at some point. There was a comic book called Trinity about 15 years ago that focused on the 3 of them, but they had a pretty cool logo. Basically, it was a merger of all 3. You know how like BBS is the merger of Superman and Batman? Well, imagine if they put the Wonder Woman logo in there. It looks pretty badass.
And kind of like how they used to do it with the Elvis whenever they had a crossover.
Yeah.
OIP Elvis. But that had discussion for another day.
Yeah. So my turn, and I don't even know if I should say this because I won't be surprised if 50's number 1. It's David Tennant's final season of Doctor Who. Because remember, we did agree on that.
I don't remember agreeing on that.
Yeah, we when we talked off camera, we were going to talk about, we said, like, we would treat the last season of a Doctor as the end of.
I mean, but here's the thing, though. Do you actually consider the actual season itself, or the 4 or 5 specials he did after that?
The season, because those have been categorically classified as specials.
Okay. Well, I mean, it would be my number 1 if I was thinking along those lines. So I guess we can consider it
last week.
I don't remember doing that, okay? It's been a long week. But regardless, let's just consider this my honorary number 1. And I'll talk about my number 1 when it's my real number 1 when it's time for me to talk about it. But yeah,
it's also been on my mind because of all the news we got this week revolving around the 60th anniversary. The return of David, the 10th Doctor, the return of Donna Noble, and the casting of Rose, Donna's daughter.
Ooh, I missed that. Okay.
That's come out in
Donna's daughter?
Yeah, that's come out in articles. She's Donna's daughter.
I missed that somehow.
Yeah, she's Donna's transgender daughter, and of course we've got Wilfred Mott returning as well.
I'm telling you, who plays the daughter? Anybody have notes?
Yasmine Feeney.
Yeah, I've never seen anything she's been in. This is only her second role.
Yeah, she was on a show called Heartstoppers, I think.
Yeah, Heartstoppers or Heartbreakers or something. It's on Netflix. I'd actually never heard of it until she was cast.
I hear the rumor, and I wonder ask you about it, 50. I saw somewhere that David Tennant might play the Doctor after Sony, but before the new Doctor. Is
Yeah,
that possible?
I heard that stupid bullshit rumor too. I hope it's not true, and I hope
It's probably not.
people just move on and forget about it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's just people letting their imagination run wild, which is like the one annoying thing about speculation in Doctor Who. It's just like everyone's reaching at some point.
Well, okay, Matt. Let me honest here. Let me honest and fair.
I'm not
It's
talking
not just Doctor Who. It's everything, Matt.
true, but I've noticed it a lot with Doctor Who because I'm in more fan pages for that than I am for other things. And it's like every day you see like rumor David Tennant's coming back as a Doctor. No, he's not.
Don't let your imagination run wild with you. It's okay to speculate, but
because that's where in fandom nowadays a lot of people's disappointment comes from. Is they overbuild their own expectations.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Exactly.
WandaVision.
yeah, and also there's a certain Star Wars movie that may or may not should not be mentioned, but people had ridiculously high expectations and they built such speculations about what's going to happen.
That can be the whole trilogy for all we know.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But in any case, to bring it back to Doctor Who.
Yeah, let's get back to that because
this is the actress I was going to mention.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but anyways, no, back to this because I mean, like, we got so many great episodes here. So many great episodes with the introduction of River's song. We get the original, as would you like to say, the original crossover with everybody at the end, which is just so dope. Plus, we have one of the greatest companions, Donna Noel. We get introduced to Wilfred Mott. There's just so many good things about this season that you don't need to hear me wax poetic about because that's where 50 show comes in. But yeah, the more ever since 50 and I started talking about Doctor Who, and before that, I'd always said Matt Smith seasons were the best. Matt Smith is still my doctor for sentimental reasons, but I'm starting to realize David Tennant's era is my favorite time to watch of Doctor Who. It is easily the best.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
And I'll tell you something else.
Not a bad episode.
I'll tell you something else. Well, you're talking specifically this season or the entire David Tennant era?
Well, I'm talking generally in the entire David Tennant era.
Because Love and Monsters, is a thing that happens.
You know what? Even then, like, I can still find some laugh. There's still some moments in that episode that make me laugh. Yes, is it the worst? Yeah, probably. But I can still find something redeeming in it.
Yeah, but going back to David,
except for the end, I will gladly admit that is freaking creepy.
Well, how did it end?
With the guy's girlfriend's face on a manhole cover, and he said, "Well, it's a weird relationship, but we make it work." Ew.
Yeah, how? And we even have a bit of a love life. I wonder how that works. And when he's holding her like this over his lap. Anyways.
Yeah, but no, David.
It was supposed to be a metaphor for disabilities. Didn't quite work out as well as they hoped. But
no.
Going back to David Tennant, I honestly think that David Tennant has, out of all the Doctors, minus I guess several of them because they don't count, but I honestly think David Tennant has the best final season
Agreed.
Of all the Doctors.
Agreed.
I wouldn't go so far as to say he has the best first season, but he's definitely got the best final season.
Yeah, for me, I don't know who I'd lean towards for that one.
I'll say this. David Tennant had my favorite 2 episodes in all of Doctor Who.
Right. Yeah, and so one of mine as well. Plus, it's got the Shakespeare Code, which is my favorite. One of my.
That's not in this season.
No, but we're just talking about Tennant in general.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, so Shakespeare's Code, and then basically anything with Martha, the Santaran episodes, which were great. Yeah,
Santara.
there's just David Tennant stuff. Oh, and of course, if you want to see David Tennant's, in my opinion, best acting out of as the Doctor, because in The Family Blood he's John Smith, but as the Doctor, you gotta watch School Reunion, man. Gotta watch School Reunion. The look on his face when he first sees Sarah Jane Smith.
I watched it last night.
Yeah, I've been watching it on my phone. It's great, and then the reveal to her, and he turns around, and he's just standing there, and hello, Sarah Jane. It's just like, oh my god, that's if someone were coming, okay, what are 5 Doctor Who episodes to watch? That's on there.
Yeah, and also the best companion, Sarah Jane Smith.
Yes.
May she rest in peace.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say, her daughter, Sadie Miller, does her roles, her voice roles in Big Finish stuff. And I watched her in an interview, and it's like, holy shit, that's a young Elizabeth Sladen right there. Like, she looks exactly like a young version of her mom from the original run of the show.
That's a great way to keep the legacy of Sarah Jane Smith going. Because, she's... Yeah. Anyways, all right.
And I will accept no other argument from that. Except for maybe Brigadier or K9. But so I have my own show called The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. I don't know if you heard about it. But,
yeah, of course I heard about it.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Well, that went over big.
Give me a sec. It's my turn to get up now.
Yes. Okay. But anyways, honorable mention.
It's getting a bit dark. The sun's getting real low, big guy.
Well, what time is it for you right now?
7:15.
Oh yeah, it's 9:15 over here for us.
Yeah.
All right. Honorable mention.
Here's the best form of math. Just add 10 hours to whatever time it is for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And remember that minus 10 for us.
To me, it's gonna be okay. Never mind. We'll work on that.
We're still
so honorable mention time.
Okay, yeah, honorable mention time. So I've only got the one because everyone shits on it, but I still wanted to throw it on here somewhere or another. How I Met Your Mother, the final season. Everyone shits on it. I don't care.
And okay, now I know you're number one. All right, here are my honorable mentions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friends, Smallville, Once Upon a Time, I Love Lucy, and the OC.
The Oak.
The OC, yeah. I've never seen it. I probably should give that a shot at some point.
There's playing a lot of, it's like 90210. There's a lot of up and comers in that show.
Okay. Well, yeah, that obviously I knew. Like, I'm very familiar with what the show is and the pop culture impact it had. I've just never seen an episode because at the time I was like, that's
Right. It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch.
Okay. What about you, 50? You got any honorable mentions this time?
Okay, yes. Because you mentioned Rebels, despite certain things that happened in around the middle, the final season of Clone Wars. I mean, again, minus that one arc with Ahsoka and the lower levels of Coruscant, the final 4 episodes are some of the greatest storytelling in old Star Wars. The aforementioned Sarah Jane Ventures.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could say that the Children of Earth was the final season of Torchwood, but then we got Miracle Day eventually.
Amen, 50's mom, amen.
Yep, he is the greatest of all time. But yeah, I wish Torchwood season 3 would count, but since it doesn't, I'm just gonna wrap up my honorable mention.
Wasn't technically season 4 a TV movie?
No, it was a full season. It was actually I believe the longest season of.
Right, it's the only one that was produced by an American company. That's right. That's what I was thinking.
And the less said about that, the better. But I will just wrap up my final thoughts by talking about. You knew this was coming. The Lion Guard.
Of course. Alrighty, so it is.
Even if it wasn't Lion King related, it really is a really good show and a really good final season for the show. Just say.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. All right, man. It's that time. Number one, Ben.
At the time it came out, it was probably the most split TV show, the most split TV season of all time. But thankfully, since another show came out that grabbed all its attention, nobody really talks about this final season anymore. And that is the final season of Lost.
Gotcha.
I fell in love with all the characters in season 1 and season 6 with an incredible way to end it and focus on all the characters. You didn't give me all the answers I was looking for, but what I wanted from the show was resolution about all the characters, and that's what it gave me. I did love the show. This is my number, and Breaking Bad, going back and forth as my number 1, my number 2 of all time. The acting is so well done. Love all the characters. Love the Flash sideways. Love all the stuff in present day. I love this final season.
I have to reserve judgment for you because, as you know, I've never seen an episode of Lost.
We gotta fix that at some point.
I know. And I'm assuming the same is for you, 50? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, at that time, I wasn't. I don't know. I guess TV. I've always been more of a TV guy than a TV show guy. Like, don't get me wrong. I watch TV shows, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of TV shows that have slipped through the cracks with me. A lot.
Me too.
We have to fix that with Lost.
I mean, for me, it was more like I was like the watch whatever is on, never actually sitting down committing to a show.
Yeah.
Other than Doctor Who and like a handful of other shows.
And like back then, like I wasn't on the internet or anything like that. Like only time I see stuff online, it was like a commercial or on Entertainment Tonight, they would do a segment on it or stuff like that. So like back then, I really wasn't as connected as I am now.
Yeah, I get it. But, okay.
All right, 50, you're number 1.
Da, 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 Smallville. I mean, it's whatever you people want to say about that show. I fucking love it. It's my 3rd favorite show of all time, and yeah, I get it. The jokes of it should have been it should have changed its name to Metropolis rather than keep its name Smallville. It took 10 years for Superman to learn how to fly. You know, all the other jokes associated with that show, whatever. I love it. And the final season, I would hardly consider it the best, but it's up there. It's up there as one of the better seasons, and it's a really great final season for a show. Hence, it being my number 1, minus David Tennant's final season.
I remember watching that live, and I remember the day we found out Michael Rosenbaum was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a relief because at that time we thought he wasn't coming back, and I fully believe there's one episode in particular, I think it's called Beacon, where Connor was turning in when the clone left and turning into like becoming Lex Luthor. And it ended with him shaving his head, if you remember.
I remember.
Yeah.
At that point, I fully believe this. At the end of that episode, the writers found out Michael was coming back. Because like the next episode, you could tell they changed plans and he became Connor Kent all of a sudden.
Mhm. Yeah, it was a little weird. I got a lot of memories about this season. I actually remember I couldn't watch the finale live because I was working night shift. So as soon as I got home, I put it on because I DVR'd it, and of course freaked out watching him fly and all that stuff like that at like 3:00 in the morning. Roommate wasn't happy. I remember traveling on the SkyTrain and seeing them film the scene in the 200th where he's saving the helicopter from the roof. Well, it was filmed at the same place where they do the Metropolis set with green screen stuff, and you could see it from the SkyTrain. It was amazing.
He put on Captain America before Captain America.
Exactly. No, there's just a lot about that season that I actually do have fond memories of. Is it the best season? No, but it's pretty. I have honestly, this season cemented that this is my favorite Lois and Clark.
Wow.
Yeah.
You believe that they love each other. You believe their story because you've seen them. You've seen their genesis. From Chloe's cousin and Chloe's best friend to,
Talking about this final season, I would be amiss if I didn't ask you guys what you thought about the Hangover episode.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny when it aired.
Which episode?
It's the Bachelorette party one where they don't remember the night before and they have to try to piece it together.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
That was fun.
Freaking email Hamilton as Elvis.
Yeah.
And let's not forget what other episodes were in that season. There was that Supergirl episode.
Yeah.
There was the one episode where Supergirl and Green Arrow were teaming up, which in a way, a lot of stuff from Smallville is a precursor to the stuff from the Arrowverse.
Which did start the next year. That's how close it was.
Wasn't it like 2 years after?
Well, no, because Arrow came out in 2012, Smallville finished in 2011.
Yeah, so it is the next year, yeah.
Right, my bad. But, and also the Booster Gold episode.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Okay, you want to hear something funny? So I went to my local comic book store after they announced the show, and I found a Booster Gold t-shirt. It was white, blue trim, picture of Booster Gold. It said Booster Gold Fan Club. Bought it. Awesome. Watching the episode, I have that fucking shirt. I don't anymore, unfortunately. I outgrew it. But, yeah, oh god, I laughed when I saw that. Booster Gold is one of my favorite characters, and if you guys ever want to read something good and find out why I think he's one of the best characters, read the Booster Gold miniseries by Jeff Johns. He's a hero that does not go around pretending he's a hero. It's so fucking good.
You know what? You know who's one of my favorite characters in that final season? Is Clark Luthor.
Yes.
Clark came from Earth 2.
Ultraman.
Yeah.
And I'd be remiss to say the return of Lionel Luthor, even though it is an alternate version.
yeah. And he does actually a recurring character in that season.
Yeah, and then like when you find out that he's on our Earth, and it's like that fourth camera break, you're like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh. When you want to miss how it all turns out now.
Yeah. The only thing that I was a little bummed about, and this is more nitpicky, is that when he did the last shot of the episode when he's running on the roof and he does this, that's a CGI suit. He never wore.
Is it really?
It is. He never wore the suit. Ever.
I thought they told. Okay, fine.
I remember when that came out. I remember when that came out, the internet was talking about that, and it was confirmed it was a CGI suit. Tom Welling never once wore a suit.
But
Yeah,
the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
He was not supposed to wear the shirt, the suit.
Yeah. I know, but I thought, I don't know, this is that part of me that thought it would have been kind of poetic to see him finally do it, even if it's the last shot. It just would have been kind of cool. But it's
I really think that
a nitpick.
the last 10 minutes of that final episode, genius.
Okay, who here else jumped out of their chair fist pumping when he finally flew?
Okay. That scene reminded me of something. I want to know if it reminded you of the same thing. Tammy is not reminiscent of Peter Pan getting his memories back in Hook.
Yeah, it almost felt the way they did it. It almost felt like, yeah, I 100% agree with you.
If I had to say one nitpick from this season is the one we mentioned earlier about Connor Kent from shaving his head and becoming Superboy again. It feels like there should have been one more episode somewhere in between that.
It does.
Well, that's my theory. My theory is like, okay, that's because they found out Michael Rosenbaum is coming.
Yeah, probably.
You think because they found out Michael Rosenbaum is back that they changed mid through?
Yeah.
Surprised. It's not the first time that stuff like that's happened.
Look at once upon a time did the same thing.
No, that's not the book.
Yeah. To bring it back to my number 5.
Yeah,
But
it's all full circle.
it all goes full circle.
Oh, here it is. This is
I
the book
think-
I'm looking for.
I mean,
So you guys,
I don't-
if you guys want to read a comic book, that goes, sorry, let me say this and then you can continue. If you guys want to read a comic book that actually goes into more of the whole Lex Luthor, Connor Kent, Superman, Superboy, The Boy of Steel by Jeff Johns, read it.
Okay. But yeah, I was gonna say because I don't necessarily know how this show how it was produced necessarily. I'm going to go on a limb and say that they knew they were bringing back Rosenbaum before they did the episode for shaving his head. Because for one thing, I know for a fact that to bring it back to Doctor Who, I know for a fact that they knew Ncuti Gatwa was the 14th Doctor all the way back in February, and we just heard about it like last week or so, or 2 weeks ago. So these kinds of things, casting stuff, even the David Tennant stuff we just talked about, it's like months in advance of when the public actually.
I would.
Sorry, I'm reading an article on this. No. 2 weeks before the filming of the finale, when he called and said, "I want in." 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, he had 1 day to shoot. But let's do
that's-
this.
But like I said,
Right.
because I don't know how that whole thing happened. And I think that they offered him the part once before. No, it was for Crisis on Infinite Earths. They offered him part of Lex Luthor, and he was like, "No, you don't have a script. You don't know what you're gonna.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing."
The most recent one, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not gonna immediately agree to this without knowing what I'm signing up for.
Yeah, agree.
Which, again, bringing it back to Doctor Who, a similar thing happened with Christopher Eccleston. Said that they asked him to come back for the 50th, and he said no, and that's how we got the man in the poster behind you.
Exactly. That's exactly how that happened, yeah.
And they still used a clip of him during the episode itself.
Which they kind of, which I understand, you know.
The final season also has one of my favorite lines from the whole show, talking about Smallville. Lois Lane says it. So you're telling me this kid is a love child between Lex Luthor and Clark Kent?
Yeah. That's basically
That is such a Lois from that show thing to say.
Yeah, exactly.
And correct
All
me if I'm
right.
wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is the not Shazam episode in that season, or is it another season?
In season 9, I believe it's called Warrior. And I remember it because of the episode of Oliver and Chloe not to become something at the very end.
Yeah, because I think they were already dating in the final season, so it wouldn't make sense for it to be in this season.
Yeah, they get married. They get married in the final season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I love the final episode ending with her reading her son a comic book about Superman. With the
Right.
final shot being Tom Welling's Superman in the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that. I just love the final episode. And the final
Yeah,
season.
me.
It's really great. I agree.
All right, so now, I think I know it.
And guess it.
Top 5 worst final seasons of a TV show.
No,
No. What's my number one, Ben?
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I'm right.
sorry.
It's the final season of Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
This was a genius way to do a final season. Flash forward. You get to see now. You got more conflicts. You got to resolve. You see where everyone's gone. Everyone's gone their separate ways. Nobody really works with the Parks Department anymore. You see Ron Swanson and him and Leslie Knope are at each other's throats, and you're like, "What the hell?" And then you finally get to my favorite episode, Ron and Leslie, where he sits down and Ron Swanson finally reveals his feelings, saying that once you left, you took people with you, and you blew me off. I just realized I didn't have a place anymore. And it was so beautiful. And then the final episode to see where they all end up. It's just such a great final season. Yeah, for me, it doesn't get any better than this.
So the entire season was a flash forward?
Yeah, so basically why am I blanking on how many seasons there were? Anyways,
I think there were 5. No, 6.
yeah, so the final episode of season 5, you see Leslie, she goes into what would become her office. It's all empty. She turns around as she enters the elevator, doors close, and all of a sudden it flash forwards, and it's her. The door's opening, and now that the room is turned into the head branch of the state parks department. I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, and then that's when you realize, oh shit, it's in the future. And then the first episode of the season kicks up from there, and away we go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's pretty genius, and of course they bring back Anne and they bring back Chris for the final episode, and you get to see. You finally get to see Jerry Larry Terry finally get something good happen to him. He becomes the mayor of Pawnee. He lives to be what's funny is he's lives to be 100, even though his birthday is on a leap year, and his wife and kids never age. They're still just as hot.
I think that.
I was like, I don't get it.
I think that. Personally, I think the final episode of The Office is a little bit many, but overall season, I have to agree with you.
I love that final episode of The Office, especially for the scene when they're all sitting in the office and Creed, after he's been discovered living there, is playing the song All the Faces. And you just see all of them like reminiscing about it. Something very poetic about that scene. But yes, I will give you as an overall season, Parks and Rec take the cake. All right. So that brings the end to this. Now, my choice next week is actually the inverse of this. It is not the worst. It is the top 5 best first seasons.
Yeah.
So I say that is because there are going to be shows that we didn't talk about on this list, where the first season was the high, and sometimes maybe have gone down. I can guarantee you one of those will be on my list. And spoilers, it's a superhero show.
I think I know
it.
Here's the thing, though. Are we counting Christopher Eccleston's first season as the first season, or are we counting William Hartnell's first season as the first?
You can do either or, because remember they are classified as classic Who and New Who.
Can I put both?
Sure.
Okay. I got my number 1 and 2.
Yeah, because yes, it is one continuity, but it is a different show. Just like Beverly Hills 90210 and 90210, same continuity, 2 different shows.
Yeah. Ooh.
All right. So 50, where can everybody find you?
So you can find me talking about even more Doctor Who than before on my own show, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. I just did a whole slightly sort of improvised episode talking about the new 14th Doctor and the return of David Tennant, Catherine Tate, Bernard Cribbins, and the casting of Yasmin Finney. So you can go ahead and check that out. I can be found every Saturday on this show with these wonderful people. I also have my own channel called 50 Shades of Geek. I sometimes go on Twitch, and I sometimes pop into some other shows with some friends from this YouTube sphere.
And Ben, what about you?
You guys can find me here every Saturday morning. Here every Thursday I'll be right there taking my soda here. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, The Morning First of Geekdom. Every Monday on Dissecting the Showdown, every Tuesday on Jedi Academy, every Friday on the Weekly Geekdom, and every Sunday on Unwind with Ben. Right now, I'm at 40 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of July. So help me out there, go there and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely do that. There's do some good shit over there. And as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on all the shows these two gentlemen have mentioned here. You can also find me Wednesdays on the Sports Slice, my wrestling show on this network. And we're not doing an episode this week, but you can find me Saturday afternoons on the Let's Get Ready Network on the Dropkicks Wrestling Show. So on behalf of myself and Ben and the 50 who just walked back in the room, what's you got?
Finish it.
We will see you next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what some of your favorite final seasons are in the comments, and we will see you next week on the Northern Countdown. Have a good evening, folks.
That's